Hey everyone, this is Chris Fresnell. It's Monday morning and it's time for another Motivational Monday, and I'm here with my friend Tim Anderson. Tim, good to have you on the Motivational Monday this morning. And we are here to talk a little bit about Tim and your story, and you're a recent retransplant from northern Illinois,
right.
but you grew up in
Springfield
area.
That's
so
right.
kind of back to the area. I met Tim through a mutual connection at a random night at La Palma.
Random.
And heard a little bit of story and was just moved and intrigued by kind of the adversity you've gone through, but also your persistence and, you know, the idea that you're still standing today, which is a miracle.
Yeah,
right?
honestly.
So tell me a little bit about some of the challenges you've experienced.
Yeah, so I kind of equate it, you know, a lot of people believe in coincidences and luck. I can tell you now I do not anymore. You know, my wife passed away on May 2nd of 2020, which has been pretty brutal, as most of you already know. Trying to come to terms with that, and moved here to be closer to my younger brother and his kids and my sister-in-law. And I have two really close friends in Columbus I've known for 20 plus years, so the thinking was, you know, get away from Illinois. There's too much pain there, too much anguish. Get down here, start over again. And with my current job, I can pretty much work wherever I want as long as I'm relatively close to an airport.
Right.
But so, you know, coincidence one, move here.
Right.
And then I started looking for churches and looking around, and you know, you see a lot of interesting flags flying around in this town.
Yes.
So I was a little nervous about were they going to leave politics at the door. Right. That's not something I really would like to mix with church. And then, you know, so it's kind of coincidence too. And then, you know, just randomly. And the funny thing was, because, you know, of course, my sister-in-law and my brother wait till the last minute to invite me to anything. So it's like, hey, we're gonna grab something to eat. You want to go? I'm like, yeah, sure. Where you at? Oh, we just got to La Palma 5 minutes ago.
You should probably show up.
Okay. Oh, thank goodness. I live 5 minutes from there.
Right.
Showed up. Met Chris. You know, told them kind of about, you know, hey, I've been looking, you know, they said, oh, he's a pastor at this church. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Then he said Methodist. I'm like, I don't know about the Methodist, because I was a Baptist, you know. And he told me, like, you should come by, check it out. And honestly, I showed up that following Sunday, and, you know, kind of hung back in the, you know, sat behind Ted, oddly enough, those first few times. And, you know, and pretty, you know, emotional-wise, I'm pretty messed up as a person. I'm not as messed up now, but, you know, couldn't get through a song without, you know, tearing up. Couldn't get through a sermon without tearing up, you know. So I had a, you know, real, kind of at that time, a love-hate relationship with the Lord.
Sure.
To be honest, just based on my experience. And, you know, volunteered for VBS 5 seconds after I started there. Molly harangued me. She didn't really have to harangue me, because I knew my nieces were coming, so it was kind of a good time to be able to spend time with them and all the other kidlings, and got a lot out of that. Started helping Ted out at the warehouse, you know, where God's love meets practical reality, or practical need. That's it. Ted, don't be mad at me. But I started doing that, and then, but the whole time, you know, I've been coming to the church and meeting people, you know.
Almost a year, right?
Yeah, June would have been June 18th. Actually, was the first day I came here, and I was trying to jump in with both feet and help out. But the whole time, I kind of felt a little bit like a poser, to be honest. Like I was trying to do all the right things. You know, gather, grow, go, gather, grow, go, like we say. But I just wasn't, you know, kind of wasn't feeling it in there, and a lot of that's because of the pain from losing my wife. And then Ted approached me a couple months ago about going on the Emmaus Walk.
Right.
And then
for those of you who don't know about Emmaus Walk, it's a spiritual retreat, and they just spend an intentional amount of time helping people overcome lots of things.
Yeah. It's an experience, and I can see why everybody was so not secretive, but more, this is something you have to experience yourself. And I would recommend it to anybody that hasn't experienced it, especially if you're at the time like I was, you know, kind of stuck and wasn't feeling the Lord in my heart like I had when I was younger, when I was a kid, when I was in the military. But yeah, it's going to that. And there's a moment there where you kind of give everything up to God, right? All your pain, all your sin. And I got to tell you, it felt like just this entire chunk of cancer had just been ripped out of my heart and let him in. Yeah. And, and I have a unique and more different, and it's only been it's only been a week. Yeah. Different perspective on my life now.
Yeah, isn't that interesting how you can get in this one-track mind of anything, really. Yeah. It doesn't have to be pain or suffering, but for you it was pain. Yeah. I mean, and a hardened heart because of that pain, right? Yeah. And you just naturally carry it, and rightfully so. We go through hard times. It's not to belittle anybody's pain and anybody's journey with pain. Yeah. It doesn't. Not for some people, it's 8 months. Some people, it's 8 years.
And honestly,
or 80 years.
And honestly, it's still there. Well, it's not. How do you say? It's not controlling me as much as it was. Yeah, which is important.
Right, and I think that is the important thing, is when things come in our life and it becomes so controlling, that's all we can focus on, and that's the problem, right? Yeah. That's where we have a growing opportunity.
That's right.
And you took that moment to grow on the Emmaus Walk, but that can happen anywhere in any place.
It can. It didn't have to be the Emmaus Walk. It could have been a conversation with Chris. It could have been a conversation with Pastor Jim or one of the other folks that come to the church or whatever. But
that was your moment.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that helped get me honestly to where I needed to be, and it's a lot of challenges in my life. I've had cancer, multiple different issues, all kinds of medical problems. Military and combat and all that stuff I've been able to transmute into something positive, right? It's like, okay, what's the next small victory I have to cross over this threshold to keep going, keep moving forward. And people that know me know I'm a pretty positive person. Try to help other people out as much as I can. Try to be as selfless as I can. But when it came to the death of my wife, that was just something that
different.
I couldn't transmute it, and I still haven't. But it's still, I'll just say this, being able to give it to God, let God come into my heart. I don't think if I hadn't have done that in such a way that I knew He was there, He's looking out for me, that I would still be the way I am. And thank God for God. Right. Right. Yeah. That I was able to, just say, here, just, you lay everything out bare, and He was there.
Yeah, that is the beautiful part about our relationship with the Father, is that we get to bear those ugly parts, the hidden parts, the cracked parts, right, that are feel so overwhelming to us that we pack it down and hide it. But realistically, He's expecting it, and He wants to.
And especially as men. I mean, men specifically, tend to not be as emotional, tend not to be as vulnerable, tend not to have those collectives of people that they can go to get the kind of mental help that they need. And it's funny because even before the Emmaus, I decided I'm going back to school for social work. The stuff we've done with VBS and things that. I'm thinking once I finish that degree, maybe I'll do something for homeless veterans or widowers or kids or all three. I don't know yet, but I'm on a new journey for what I'm going to call Tim 2.0.
That's awesome. Well, I think that God loves to renew and redeem, and I like how you talk about like coincidences aren't. It's no such thing as coincidence, because that's all part of our story.
That's right.
And God is using those things to not let go to waste. Right. Yeah. Again, God's not going like, I hope you have a bad day so I can use it. Yeah, exactly. But He is saying, hey, if you do have a bad day, bring it to me, and I will use it. And that's the difference, right?
No, it's right. I mean, we were talking about this thing at the Emmaus Walk, which it's not a secret, but the life of grace. Yeah. And there's 3 pillars, piety, action, and study. And I've been pretty good on the action, getting out there doing stuff, because I thought that helping myself would help others. Yep. And, but it's like, if you don't open your heart, I mean, truly, and you guys know what we're talking about. I mean, like when you fall in love with somebody for the first time, or you have a child. I don't have children, but I know how I feel about my nieces and stuff. Yeah. You just, you know that you have to open your heart and truly open it and be completely vulnerable, and He'll come right on rolling in.
That's awesome. Yeah, and so for any of you who are watching and are looking to be encouraged today and motivated, open up to God, right?
That's right.
Take a moment, even if it's right now and you're in your car and you're listening or you're...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, all you have to do is be vulnerable to God, just like you are to your most significant other, or to your best friend, or your mom, or your dad, or your grandbrother, your uncle, or your aunt.
Right.
Just open up and just release it, get rid of it, and I tell you, after doing that, man, you're gonna feel a world of difference. You're gonna feel God's love just come crashing down on you, which is a good thing.
It is. That's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing, Tim. I appreciate it. And for those of you who are listening again, take a moment this week and maybe be vulnerable with God in your quiet time, wherever that is and however that looks like. But know that we're praying for you. We're with you. We're rooting you on, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Peace.